Good evening, class. Hope you're all having a wonderful Sunday. Today's lesson, well, first of all, I want to speak about last week. I hope you brought your research on the Obama administration, Obamacare, and what his last name was. And I'd like to speak to attendance real quickly. Last week was dismal. We had about 2 people attending, including my brother. And I want to let you guys know, 3 absences results in a letter grade drop. So this is Professor Henshenburg, and I'm being joined by
Professor Snotface.
Today's lesson will be on the Civil War. Now, the Civil War, as I am aware, was a war of civility taking place between 1231. So the Civil War was a war of civility
Between the East and the West?
The East and the West portions of this just took place in Texas, of New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Texas and New Hampshire around the years 1200. So around the years of 1200.
That happened
country.
333 BC.
All right, so
333 was when New Hampshire was founded.
So there was one party that made the argument, I declare that we have more civility and more formalities within the state. And then the other party said,
Probably something about corn. That they needed more corn.
now let's,
So
I
corn.
really need some water. Students, we're going to take a couple minute break and drink some water. Cheers. To education.
All right.
So
The shade of blue
that's not relevant.
right here is the color of the flag of the West side in the Civil War. And then this color is
That
the
color.
color of the East side.
And that's actually why we dress like this. This is the
Yeah.
west side, that's the east side.
I'm messing up.
So bringing it back to
Say
corn,
that.
corn is actually an acronym. It stands for CRAP. CRAP are rights. No, like N-O, like our rights. No, where'd they go? What happened to our rights? We lost our rights. Their rights to grow corn. That's why it is this side of the argument, because what? You know, it is just funny how silly their argument was. I mean, I strongly side with the East. The corn, it was bad corn. Professor Snotface, could you tell the class more about the corn?
I'm almost done. Corn. Courage. Orange. Rescind. Nougat.
So, can you break down that acronym for us?
Sure. So carp is a type of fish that can be found. Apples, as you remember, that was the... Apples are a huge part of the infrastructure in New England, of course, and even more so in Texas, where the land is fertile and cool. So...
And you know, that's very interesting. I'd like to add on to that. Excuse me, I had to drink water. Carpet, you know, you walk on it. The whole debate was, what do we walk on? Do we walk on corn? Or do we walk over our rights? They're trampling our rights, they're trampling the corn.
Don't forget the apples.
The apples as well. What were the apples?
Apples are a huge part of Texas.
Oh, right. So the government was actually ran out of apples being sold on eBay as transactions between different companies as a philosophy speaking to this idea that money is a currency based out of fruit and out of eBay transactions, which is actually a philosophy speaking to an idea that apples are used.
Just like a friendly reminder, if you're trying to remember when eBay came into the world, think Big Bang,
1300.
eBay, evolution.
And you know, and that's because eBay is actually an acronym. eBay stands for explosions before
Anyone.
anyone
You existed.
used eBay. Explosions before anyone used eBay. So that's how I remember the timeline. So when you're studying
eBay?
So that's just something that helps me remember the timeline. I recommend you guys take note of that and study that. You know, there's a lot of stuff we throw at you. You know, I throw at you guys a lot of difficult stuff. A lot of difficult stuff in this class, like bringing in Professor Snotface to throw just more new information at you guys. So I like to supply you guys with little tidbits like that eBay acronym to help you remember the timeline, to just help
Big
you
Bang,
with these things.
eBay.
Where were we? So the east side and the west side, right? So we were talking about the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
I represent the west. All right, let's say I represent the west.
Okay.
Now make your response as the east.
All right. Well, maybe I should get some of your apples.
Sorry, that's a really stupid question. I thought you were talking about corn.
Okay, corn? Now you have to remember this. We're talking 300, 400 BC. Corn and apples were basically the same thing back then, all right? They were, trade some corn, eat an apple.
All through eBay. So, the West's argument, I'll be the West. This is what the West was like. No. No. And that was the argument of the West.
So, shortly after the West said no, along came the inventions of slingshots.
And this was where the war really kicked up. Because
Yeah.
this is where the warfare got involved. You know, today we're talking about atomic bombs detonating Antarctica because people don't like Antarctica. And that's a very real threat for Antarcticans at the pole. What was I talking about?
Slingshots.
Right, so slingshots were, and today, so slingshots. And so, today, we're really worried about, like, an atomic war, like with Antarctica. People really don't want to detonate, people really want to get rid of Antarctica. And so people are really worried about that. What was I talking about?
Slingshots.
Right, so slingshots, so I guess to explain slingshots, let's connect it back today to help you guys study this. So, we think of like atomic warfare today being kind of juxtaposed with slingshots. An example of that.
Slingshots is actually a pretty well-known acronym amongst everyone that studies the Civil War. Actually, it's
You're on your own with this.
Okay. All right. Slingshots is actually a very well-known acronym amongst those that study the Civil War. So It's snails, lead. Slingshots is actually a very common acronym that was used amongst people that studied the Civil War. All right. Snails, lead, Ingrid, the name Ingrid. We'll get back to that later. No, go, shoot, hoe, orange. Slingshots was actually a very well-known, commonly used acronym amongst those that are studying the Civil War, all right? So it goes snails, lead, Ingrid, the name. We'll get back to that later. No, go, shoot, hoe, oranges, tea, sardines. And that's a whole acronym for slingshots.
By the way, so if we ever stick on a topic for too long, just raise your hand and let us know. Sorry, someone farted. Slingshots were used as a form of warfare, and what they would do is they would put the corn in the slingshot and they'd flick it back, and that is where, for retaliation, the West went and they took boxes of tea, like that, and they took boxes of. Please, can we be serious, Professor Snotface? They took boxes of tea in retaliation to the West and dumped them in to the Boston Harbor, which is also where the bombings got involved. But that's next class. So just so you guys know, that's where we're going with history. Here's a demonstration. And the West found that very annoying. They did not like that at all. So that's why, so that's why the West was incredibly peeved at these corn slingshots, and that led to the tea dumpings. And then after that, this is actually where separation of church and state started, because the government was like, these guys are praying to the corn gods, and it's affecting the legislation.
That's actually where first cornmunion came from.
Yeah, Obama stepped in and he said, guys, I've been here around, I've been seeing Aristotle and Socrates discovering poop, and I've got to tell you guys, this is the next bad thing that's going to happen. And he came up and he's like, we need to separate these corn religion laws from the state, because it is interfering with our liberty and our freedom and our 17th Amendment to exercise our freedom of religion. To take it back to slingshots, Ingrid was the name of the man. We'll get to that next class. And that's how that conflict kind of came about, and then it was resolved to the separation of church and state. That kind of concludes that whole arc, that whole story. I want you guys to study that. Remember the acronyms that we went through. If we said the same acronym multiple times with different words, I'd like you to know those in the order and the exact time in the lesson that I gave that. Please include second, not just minute, because that is not enough to know you guys have been paying attention during this exam. And I know most of you guys haven't because of your attendance. So please, come in to the website. Snotface, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, education is incredibly important. So to hear Professor Henshenburg so upset about his attendance being so low, it really hits something deep in me, all right? You guys need to be going to these classes. You need to be taking notes. You need to know all the different versions of all the different acronyms, all right? School isn't a joke. That's all.
That was well said, Professor Snotface. You know, it's not something I'm happy to talk about. I'm not overjoyed to talk about attendance. But when it comes down to school matters, I'm not afraid to put the hammer down on legislation and dropping grades for attendance. So remember, Obamacare administration, how Obama got involved, the times, dates, acronyms, how corn was used as an acronym and as a weapon.
And don't forget apples.
And the Apple currency that developed after the Big Bang, Apple/corn. I guess we should have established this before. Apple and corn we kind of used interchangeably because they actually couldn't tell them apart until the early 1600s. So we should have given that preface, my bad. But now you can watch through your replay of the video.
Don't forget the name Ingrid, all right? You don't know anything about her, but remember her name.
And we've actually talked about Ingrid before. In the previous lesson, I mentioned someone who also went by the name of Ingrid, but don't worry about it. I know that just kind of changed like your knowledge of everything. It's kind of a paradigm shift, but we're going to get to that next class. And then at the end of that lesson, we'll have the quiz on Ingrid and Obama and all of that. So, I mean, it is going to be a lot of new information thrown at you next class, and a lot of things changed. Also, I'm going to reteach my lesson on poop, and you have to take all that information into you on the quiz. So, my apologies. That might be difficult for some of you guys, but you need to step up your game here. And attend and have some sort of academic excellence within this environment. This is an AP class at a college, so we mean some business here, isn't that right? She's smiling because she knows. Now, that is all. Stay safe. Have a wonderful rest of your week that's coming up.
And if you do drugs, only do the soft ones.
Yeah, don't do hard drugs. And you were dismissed, class.